You gotta stop. Fuck it, I'm going with the first one. Hey yo, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about writer things, and parent writer things. This week, I'm going to be talking about some tropes in fantasy that I absolutely adore. A couple things before we get started. First of all, I'm still recruiting beta readers for my short story, Not For Her, a tale about a shady man trying to do the right things for mostly selfish reasons. If you're interested, you can apply to beta at my website down below. I've received an arc for The Savior's Sister by Jenna Morassi, the companion novel to one of my favorite fantasy novels, The Savior's Champion. If forbidden romance, political intrigue, and action in a dark fantasy novel sounds good to you, I highly recommend it. Ebook pre-orders are live now, with other formats soon to follow. And if you do pre-order, you can enter Jenna's pre-order giveaways. They're running from, well, now until the release day. I'll include all the links in my description down below. Let's hop into the video, shall we? Here's 9 of my dope tropes of fantasy. Remember, this is all my opinion. If you disagree, you disagree. If you agree, we have good taste. I'm starting off with the magical mentor or Merlin-esque character because I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this trope. I really enjoy the idea of some probably really old person or magical being who's seen some shit, right? They're experienced, they know what they're doing, but also maybe they kind of just don't care anymore. That shit that they've seen, yeah, it kind of made them lose faith in everything. But then we have the MC. Whether the chosen one or somebody who just decided that it's their job to do it, they need the magical mentor's help. And somehow, whether through stubbornness, cuteness, reminding them of the past, whatever, the MC gets the magical mentor to teach them how to save the world. And they bond, they become a tiny found family, and then for some reason the magical mentor dies, whether it's old age, or they save the MC, or I don't know, it's just a thing. I say it's a love-hate relationship because, well, not only do I not appreciate the mentor always dying part, but I very rarely see it actually done this way, and a lot of the times the way I see the magical mentor done just kind of annoys me. But when it is done this way, I fucking adore it. Speaking of found family tropes, one of my favorite ones is the ragtag band. Yeah, I know, this could technically be found in just about any genre, but I really don't care. Usually when it's applied to fantasy, the members of the ragtag band kind of have varying levels of morality, which can lead to a lot of infighting and even maybe a moment of, why are we even friends? But these moments always get resolved, and they're generally stronger for it. I also really enjoy when there's that one loner that's kind of more on the outside of the family than everybody else, and then they get their own little moment where they really need help, but they don't want to bother anybody, but then everybody finds out and they like jump at the chance to help them, and that loner's all like, wait, but why would you want to help me? And then somebody in the group is always like, well, because you're family, duh. And then it's just like really touching, and it's so cliche and cheesy, and I don't care because I just adore, I love it. I love cheese and cliches, what can I say? And sometimes because I can be a creature of very simple joys, the third trope on my list is the gung-ho hero and the shady charlatan, which I know, technically, they could be considered part of the ragtag band, but listen, they can also be on their own, and it's my tropes list, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. I, as I'm sure many others, grew up on fantasy with very specific archetypes, especially if we also played video games or Dungeons and Dragons. You know, knight, healer, warrior, those kind of things. I afuckingdore when there is a gung-ho hero, someone who's just sunshine and good and ready to just save the day, who grew up with and is best friends with the shadiest motherfucker in town. A charlatan who will occasionally rush them out of a tavern or a town and onward to the next adventure, when in reality they're just trying to leave before somebody figures out they cheated them in a card game. And of course, these two are super protective of each other, especially the charlatan, who would absolutely never double-cross or betray the hero in any way. Except for the occasional white lie here or there, but it's never a harmful one. I also enjoy both when the hero is completely and totally oblivious to the charlatan's behavior, or when they know exactly who the charlatan is, but they accept that that's just how they are. But this does not work as well if the hero is actively judging the charlatan or vice versa. I mean, some side eyes and minor disapprovals are fine, but the relationship's gonna get real sour real fast if people don't come off of high horses. I promise I have more than familial relationship tropes on this list, such as this one. Give me a good old monster that'll fuck shit up as our enemy, and I'm gonna accept it pretty easily. After all, in real life, we have tons of myths and legends about some scary ass shit that could fuck people up, and most people don't really pay it any mind. Now, I couldn't really decide if I wanted to go with the abstract, the long forgotten monster thingy is the embodiment of humanity's fear, greed, hatred, general ickiness, or if I wanted to go with the monster is, well, just a monster that could eat or annihilate or crush or destroy everything. Both of them have their good points, and I usually like stories with either of them. Because monsters like this don't care. They don't usually have a reason to care. There's no conscience for them to wrestle. There's no way to barter with them. There's almost no way to stop them other than to prevent them from coming back, prevent them from waking up, or finding some way to defeat or kill them or put them back to sleep. And if the heroes fail, literally everything and everyone is just fucked. Those are stakes I really enjoy. I have searched my heart and soul, and this is just gonna be one of those just listen tropes. Because I don't actually like the idea of this trope. I actually get really annoyed and tend to not like when worlds have deities and they just don't do their jobs anymore. And I'm not talking about well, the gods might or might not still be around, or the gods may or may not be doing something. Like, that's fine, that's whatever. It's when the gods are like, no, you know what, we're not helping people anymore because we're better than them, so why should we do our jobs? However, stories with this trope tend to have really gripping protagonists, and in their search for help, they grow in ways that I usually really love. And they'll also find the one, two, or tiny handful of gods still willing to help who, still care. And I love that contrast is always so fascinating to me. So this is kind of a special case where I may not like the concept or the trope itself, but I understand the necessity for it and that it's required for a lot of other aspects or tropes that I really do enjoy. So it goes here out of appreciation. And it's shady little slut. Although, not all shady business is bad. I love good corrupt government. And this trope can be done so many ways. I like when people think their governments are on the up and up, but no, they're corrupt as fuck. Cause maybe this one greedy bastard was just cunning enough to take power without anybody realizing it until it's too late. Or the whole thing has been slowly corrupted over time and we should just throw the whole government out. Bonus points when corrupt monarchy is combined with a royal rebellion plot, because one of the royals is trying to clean up the mess that their relative made. Or also if the peasant-led rebellion gets some royal or noble reinforcements to join them. I mean, I don't need royals and nobles to help the peasants uprise and throw out the monarchy. I just really like seeing people of different walks of life getting together and, meshing well. I also like seeing people in power taking responsibility for shit that got fucked up by people in power. I'm just human and I have preferences, and this has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that forbidden romance happens a lot with royal rebellions between, the crown heir and one of the peasants, and there's sometimes a lot of issues and drama tied to that I soak up. Moving on, because you can prove nothing. I don't care if an MC is the chosen one or not. I like seeing them work for their skill. Now, this isn't to discredit characters who start out particularly talented, because I actually really enjoy when somebody starts out with a special talent for something and then they hit that wall and realize that talent can only get them so far, and now they have to work hard to make their skill even better. Be it art, fighting, magic, whatever, I love rejoicing with them when they overcome those hurdles that have been a pain in their ass. Now, I'm not saying that I need to see the training montage for every single skill or anything. Please, no thank you. And sometimes a time skip or just being told that they worked hard for it in their childhood is perfectly fine. Whatever suits the story best. I just like to know that they worked hard for them, probably because I believe in, if you can work hard, you can achieve anything, and give me fantasy that fulfills that fantasy. I'm a happy girl. Now, I am not a fan of prophecies. This isn't to say that I dislike prophecies, because, prophecies can be puzzles, and I love to solve a puzzle. I'm just not into the whole predetermined fate thing. Surprise, surprise, right? See, I really like when prophecies are passed down as the indisputable word of fate, set in proverbial stone. Nothing can change this prophecy, nothing can stop it from happening, except bam! It was fake all along. Totally made up. Doesn't matter. The only reason it's gotten as far as it has is because somebody put it in people's heads and it became self-fulfilling. I also like prophecies that fall in between. It's all like, were they misinterpreted? Did they have multiple meanings? Was the prophecy actually real? Did it come to pass because it was self-fulfilled? Dun dun dun! Was it destiny? That may seem a little contradicting, but sometimes you have a prophecy that's like, it's gonna happen no matter what, and people are fighting against it and fighting against it and fighting against it, and then it happens anyway, and I'm like, what was the point of fighting against it in the first place? I just want that chance, okay? This is possibly my favorite trope on the list, and one that I don't actually see a lot, but you know what? My list, I can do what I want. I love horses. I've loved horses ever since I was a kid. Another surprise, right? A lot of times in kids' media, the horse companion will be more competent than either the MC or their writer, which can lead to a lot of comedic gold moments I am here for. In adult media, the cool horse is often extremely loyal to their writer, refusing to leave their side no matter the danger. And a lot of times there will be a scene or a time when they have to carry their injured and most likely passed out rider an impressive distance to safety. And almost always there's gonna be a point where the horse is put in danger and the reader is left to be like, oh fuck, did the horse survive? Did the horse die? The horse better have survived. I am a fan of when the horse survives. I am not a fan of when it doesn't. Which is why I appreciate that usually they survive. Now, I will kind of extend this trope to say that it doesn't strictly have to be a horse. I can also appreciate just about any animal companion or loyal mount. It's just, I have a soft spot for horses, so that's the one that I like the most. Alright everyone, that's all I have for you this week. I'm still doing live streams on Mondays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Remember folks, if you're curious about whether or not I can write, I post samples on my website right here, or you can even apply to beta read my short story, Not For Her, a tale about a shady man trying to do the right things for mostly selfish reasons. And if you just kind of prefer to stalk my social media, you can find me at Samantha L. Nasset on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and Facebook. All of my links are, as always, listed down below. If you liked this video, please give it a like, comment, subscribe, and maybe ring-a-ding that bell. I post new videos every week on Wednesday. Hope to see you next week. Sam out. And because sometimes I can be a creature of very simple pleasures. Don't want to phrase it that way. Hey, don't play over here. Forgotten. The long dead. It's not dead. Come on.